Hey everybody, welcome to Rook's Recipes. One of our valued subscribers asked us, what about seafood? And we love seafood. So we're gonna do our first seafood recipe tonight. We're gonna start at the top, pretty much. You might think lobster, but really scallops. If you ask a bunch of people, what is your favorite seafood? You're gonna get a lot of answers that say scallops. So what we're gonna do is a two-part episode. The first part is we're going to show you how to perfectly sear scallops. Now there's other ways to make scallops, but the most delicate and beautiful and tasty is seared, because you create a nice brown crust on the outside and you don't cook the middle all the way, so it's kind of luscious and juicy in the middle and crispy brown on the outsides. So we're going to do that as kind of the first part, and then the second part, you can do just about anything you want to do with scallops. You can eat them plain, you can wrap them in bacon, you can serve them on pasta or risotto, or your imagination is the only limit to how you can serve scallops. Our second part tonight will be a way to serve them, and that will be sauteed spinach with bacon and red onion and mushrooms and garlic. So that's going to be our second part. But for our first part, we're going to focus on the scallops and just how to sear them perfectly. So first of all, I bought these at Costco. They were frozen and they are ginormous. When I looked at them in the bag, I was like, I have to have those. I didn't have any plans for them. I just thought, I've got to have those scallops. So these are frozen scallops. They're like 10 per pound. I think it was like U10. That means under 10 scallops per pound. So these are truly large. So the first thing you have to do, and of course we had to thaw them, but you have to let them give their water up. So I'll show you a little video of the first paper towel that I put under these scallops. It was soaked with the water that came out of them. So to sear scallops really well, you must dry them really well. So that we've done that. They're thawed and they're dried. And the second thing is that they should be at room temperature. If you have them in the refrigerator, get them out of the refrigerator about a half hour before you cook them. And that way they will sear better. There are two sides to a scallop. You can call them top and bottom, but the larger side is the side you want to put down first. And I think in all cases, these are such, oh my gosh, they are so thick and, oh, I have big hands, and these are some of the biggest scallops I've ever seen. And okay, so are scallops expensive? Yes, if you order them in a restaurant, you're gonna pay $30 to $40 for a meal that's made of scallops. You'll probably pay $18 to $20 for an appetizer made of scallops. I paid $40 for 2.5 pounds of scallops. That's less than $20 a pound. Let's say it's $17 a pound. And if there's 10 in a pound, that's $1.70 per scallop. So this is the way to get them if you do not have to pay through the nose at a restaurant to enjoy them. What we're gonna do is we're warming up this older nonstick pan, and there are basically two things that we're gonna put in it. We're gonna put in oil and butter. But first, I'm gonna season the scallops a little bit. So, executive producer, if you can, have you introduced the official program observer?
Everybody knows.
Oh, and obviously we're inside, so this is your introduction to our kitchen for the first time. Salt and pepper is kind of classic. As you have seen in my previous episodes, I have a salt and pepper blend that includes a little bit of garlic powder. So I'm going to season them with this. And one of the great things about scallops is they're just delicious all by themselves, so you don't want to over season them. I'm just going to sprinkle a little bit of this trifecta of lusciousness on the scallops. Fry pan over there, I want that oil to be just about smoking. So I'm gonna put the oil in. That's olive oil. You could use different kinds of oil. I've done this with, now I'm gonna finish these. I've done this with avocado oil. You could use a vegetable oil. Doesn't really matter. Okay, seasoning on both sides. Now then, here's what we do. We've got a little hunk of butter here, and when this oil gets super hot,
Check it with water.
Yeah, I'm gonna check it with water. Thank you, executive producer. I don't think it's hot enough yet, but let's see. Okay, so that's probably hot enough. Now, the reason we put the butter in is because butter adds flavor, but we use the oil to cut the butter so that the butter doesn't burn. It's a trick I learned. Thank you, Sam, the cooking guy. If you put butter in a very, very hot skillet like this, you probably know this, it just goes, burns up, right? But if you've got oil in there, the butter, look at that. See, it kind of stays yellow. See that? I mean, honestly, that's pretty cool. I'd have to study some thermodynamics to figure out how that works. This is going to happen very quickly. How long do you have to cook scallops? 4 minutes. Two minutes on each side is more than enough, okay? So I think we're going to do this in real time, meaning we're not going to cut or anything. It's just going to be cooked as we watch, okay? Okay, so I'm going to put these in like a clock face. I start at 12 o'clock, so I know which ones have been in the longest. 4:44, 4, 5, 6. I'm just gonna, this one's going to be a little bit more seasoned. I'm going to blot up these. Okay, there we go. And that one that's in the middle is going to cook the fastest. So that's 20 seconds. 20 seconds since I put this one down. Oh, the executive producer has provided me the scallop flipper. Look at that. That's the right tool for the job. I'm not going to move them around. I'm not going to shake the pan. I might just tilt the pan a little bit to let the juices, you know, the hot oil bathe the bottom of the scallops like that. But I'm not going to move them around. I'm not going to move them around because I want them to just sit there and get that crust on the side. Okay, so that is 1 minute. And I'm just going to do this 2 minutes aside. And that is, I would say, more than enough. Look at that. It's beautiful. Ooh. And even to this point, there's no brown. There's very little brown in terms of the butter burning. It's really staying nice. And of course, if you put a scallop in and you don't hear the sizzle, your pan's not hot enough. Keep heating the pan. This fire you can see is on very close to high. It's the highest possible heat. Okay, so in 15 seconds, we're going to flip the first one. Can you see on the bottom there, you can see how the brown is starting to form? That's what we're going to see when we turn it over. Here we go. That's 12 o'clock, right? Mm-hmm. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, look at that. If you didn't think that you could cook scallops, I hope you realize now that you can. Because look at that. That is one of the easiest things, I hate to say, that's one of the easiest things there is to cook. So now I'm going to get them kind of into the middle where they should be. I'm probably not going to let these go 2 more minutes because I think they'll be, oh, look at that. All right, once again, I'm going to pour the oil and butter around. What does our program observer think? What do you think, Sherlock?
Not much.
Not very impressed? That don't impress you much? Okay, that's 1 minute on this other side. Okay, now to illustrate what I'm talking about. 1 minute. 1 minute, okay? So I said 4 minutes, I'm going to say 3 minutes and a few seconds because you can see that this other side is just about ready to come off. And as you know, you may know, scallops are a very popular sushi dish, so they don't have to be cooked all the way through, unless you just hate the idea of raw fish. And I'm not saying raw, but like medium rare, a medium rare scallop A medium rare scallop is a lovely thing. Yum, yum, yum. Okay. Oh, look at that. Okay.
You why they're on a wire rack.
They're on a wire rack because if you put the bottom side on a paper towel or anything that's flat like that, the crispiness will be defeated by sitting in its own juices, right? So they're gonna give off a little juice. You can see they're dripping. If they were sitting on this cookie sheet, for example, they would be sitting in their own juice. And we don't really want that because we want them to stay crisp. They're gonna be amazing. So which one should we taste, executive producer? How about this one? Does that look perfect? Mm-hmm. Okay, we're gonna put this over on here. And then we're gonna taste this one just plain. Oh, look at that. Oh, wow. So, just a couple things to note. I don't know if you can see the color in there, but it's still juicy in the middle and it's still springy when you touch it like that. Those are a couple things to look for. But if you do it the way we did it, you can't mess it up. If your scallops are not as thick as these, then you could take off 30 seconds per side. But look at that. That is one phenomenal piece of ocean animal.
Cut off a thin slice to cool for Sherlock.
Oh my goodness. Do dogs like seafood? Okay, executive producer. What say you?
This dog likes it.
Okay.
Cut that in half again. Uh-oh.
Come on, buddy. It's just fish. Oh, yeah. This is good. You can have it. Yeah. Get you some.
Good boy. It's for you.
Oh, yeah.
Uh-oh. All right, never mind.
He tried. All right, I'm putting a little bit more of this delicious. And, okay. So, seared scallops. You can't mess it up. Okay. Now we're going to start with the presentation on the bed of spinach as we talked about.